what's up in the, what's next? What's next? What do we got up next?
Yeah, up next on the docket, and again, this kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. I don't think we're done. There were reports
we're
that
not.
there were reports that came out that the Carolina Panthers were trying to sign Adam Thielen and former Lions wide receiver DJ Chark. Whereas most Panther fans kind of thought that it was going to be one or the other. Fitterer is like, no, man, we're trying to load up on the weapons. Then DJ Chark subsequently went on Instagram and started following damn near every Carolina Panthers player with an Instagram account that there is, man. He followed Shaq Thompson, J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin. It really looks like something that
Could happen.
that really could happen. And not only that it could happen, but that the Panthers want to happen. And I've also heard rumors that that's what DJ Chark wants to happen, that he wants to come here with the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
I would love that. He's had some injury histories here and there, but for the most part, this dude has an incredible physical profile, tall, fast, checks every box that you want from a receiver. Dude, that would be absolutely incredible for the Carolina Panthers.
CK, I heard on Pat McAfee today when they were talking to Adam Thielen. I guess it was today or yesterday's show, whenever they had him on. I just watch it on YouTube whenever I'm sitting around. He said, he asked Adam Thielen if he was doing some recruiting. And he said, oh, yeah. And he mentioned Instagram messaging DJ Chark.
Listen, I mean, that's what you want to see happening. And the fact that they are following each other. And it sounds like, from what I'd seen, there were some reports that Chark wanted to come here, but we were concerned about his durability. I don't know what the circumstances are or how real those reports are, but I do recall hearing something along those lines. So something to keep an eye out on. But that would be an interesting situation if that is, in fact, the truth.
Well, is what this is. I don't know if it's just that we haven't paid a lot of attention to our offense in the past ever. It feels like at times. I don't know if it's the kind of the wins in our and behind our backs, because we're going to get that franchise quarterback in that number one pick, and we know it's coming, and we know that at least we'll have a time where we believe that the Panthers offense is going to be heading in the right direction. I don't know if it's Frank Reich, but I tell you, man, is that the offensive stuff just gets your blood pumping. And boy, Cody, I'd like to go to clip. Let's go to one of those clips. I guess the first clip I sent about building a squad to support a quarterback. This is we're going to go to Scott Fitterer yesterday at his press conference talking about free agency. And while they talked about free agency, everything was about that quarterback.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay.
I guess we need sound, huh?
I know. I clipped this on YouTube, so we should be all right.
You're not going to make a move like that without having that pretty much, man. And well, now we're going through the process of talking to the players and really getting to know them. You know them as players starting back a couple of years when your scouts start, watching these guys, evaluating them. We had a snapshot at the combine where you get 18 minutes talking to them. But really, we want to get to know them, what drives them, supporting them, their family. So this is an important time to go through this process. But we do feel good about the group up top.
This is
your off-season approach and everything you do now that you're 1 versus 9.
We could go ahead and cut it there. This clip right here is discussing how they would not have traded up if they had not believed that one of these quarterbacks was the real deal, right? But they are also committed. Let's go ahead and pull up the next clip. This is Scott Fitterer talking about the need and the importance of putting together a team that supports a young quarterback in the right way. And boy, we're going to talk about Cam Newton in a little while. But if you remember Panther fans bemoaning, asking a young guy to do it all by himself, there's a different sheriff in town, Cody.
Yeah, Well, it started like when you lose DJ Moore. I mean, that hurts. So how do you replace that? And if you're going to go with a young quarterback, you have to have a running back. You have to have the tight end. You have to have the receivers. We feel like we have the offensive line. Brought back Bozeman. Kind of cemented that starting five. Bringing Justin McCray. Caden Mays is making his move. So we feel good about that. Everything we've done the last couple of years is build the defense, build the offensive line. So when we get to that position, we can drop someone in. We're in that position right now. But what we wanted to do in free agency is surround that person and then go into the draft, not having to force anything. We don't want to have to take a certain position at 39 just to take that position. We want to take the best player available. So that's why we made these moves.
Got any concern?
Y'all's thoughts?
Listen, I actually have some very strong thoughts about this, and I've been saying this on on Twitter. Follow me at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. I don't think that the Panthers are 100% sold on who they're going to draft. There's this idea amongst Panther fans that as soon as they executed this trade, that it was set in stone, that the Panthers organization, without question, knows who they're going to draft. And listen, maybe I'm out of line here, but I feel that is fundamentally not true. They haven't been to any of their pro days. They haven't had any of their in-person visits. And keep in mind, those are the ones that matter, right? Because when they come here, they'll spend, most of the day. They'll have like a 3-hour visit going through the facility, talking about their life, looking at film, going through all different kinds of things. And those are incredibly important to your evaluation process, the team's overall evaluation process as a whole. I have no doubt in my mind that there is a leader in the clubhouse, right? That they probably have somebody who has a higher grade than the other player. But I mean, think about how fans are so torn right now. Like, you can make legit arguments for either of Bryce Young or CJ Stroud being the number one quarterback in this year's draft. Now, imagine an entire front office filled with football people who all have strong opinions and strong convictions on the quarterback position. I guarantee you there are people inside that building that love CJ Stroud. I know Josh McCown is one of them. Then I know you're going to have people that love the processing ability of a player like Bryce Young. So in my mind, the idea that the Carolina Panthers know right now on March the 21st who they're going to be drafting on April 27th, I'm sorry, but that's absurd to me, man. I don't think that they're sold on either one of them yet. They can't be, and they shouldn't be.
I think that we're kind of splitting hairs a different way, though. I'm not saying they know exactly which one is it going to be, Stroud or Young. They're going to pick, and they're set in stone yet. They talked about like how these visits are going to be important. There's still a lot more to get to know and helping them make that decision. I just feel that they're confident that one of those two players right there, and if you want to expand it, right, is what they're saying is they're confident that they can get a franchise level quarterback in this draft, and it's not a reach. That's it. I'm not saying who that they've decided on it. CK, we are getting a rookie quarterback, and it's going to happen whether or not people. Actually, everybody wants it. It does feel good to assemble a squad around that could support him.
I mean, that's the thing is, if we can get a group of guys together that make his life easier, I think that's going to be a recipe for success. I mean, especially if this guy is going to be starting week 1, which by all the things that are said in this press conference, this is the intention. This isn't going to be a scenario where maybe it's Andy Dalton starting. Like, from what they're stating, Andy was brought in to help a guy start from day one. Right. And that's what he understands his role to be. And that's what this coaching staff understands is what they're looking for out of a quarterback. So, I mean, if that is the goal, then there's no better situation to have your rookie quarterback be in than to have a guy like Thielen and Hayden Hurst and and I mean, just established veterans. Like, we don't have a group of young people on this team, and TMJ being able to grow with a rookie quarterback, I think is an incredible opportunity for him to show what he's capable of doing. Too many times, I think he's been given the short end of the stick, if you will. And so now it's going to be his opportunity to show the world what he's actually capable of doing.
At the end of the day, Cody, they might not have the guy selected right now or like set in stone, but this is the most important pick not in Panthers history. This is probably the second most important pick in Panthers history. We've had the number 1 pick one other time. We've had the number 2 pick where we got Julius Peppers. This has been the most important pick in the Carolina Panthers franchise since the Cam Newton pick. Cody Lack, right now there are 2 people who are in the running. I want to shout out at D's Skills. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com and check out his most recent article, Picking the Right Quarterback, Young versus Stroud. These are the 2 names. Before we get into some of the meat and bones or the meat and potatoes of his argument, these are the 2 guys. These are the 2 names, are they not?
Without question, they are. I mean, in my mind, yeah, it's without question. And this is kind of attaching to the previous point that I just made. In my mind, when you moved up to number 1, or if you're the Carolina Panthers and you moved up to number 1, it guaranteed you the right to choose one of those 2 young men, either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Now, whoever that ends up being, fine. But it guarantees that you're going to get your pick. No matter who you end up valuing more highly, it's going to be between those, and you'll guarantee yourself the right to be able to grab them. Definitely check out CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Our boy D's Ill Skills coming through, supporting the website and writing some content, man. He wrote a fantastic article. Again, man, over here at C3, we want people to feel like you are a part of the C3 Panthers podcast. And you are, man. This is for the fans, by the fans. We want you to feel like your voice matters here, because it does, man. So that means you have to support Panther family, C3 Panther family, when you have the opportunity. Go read this brand new article. He put a ton of time and effort into it. And might I say, my boy did a pretty damn good job, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, the backbone of this article, I mean, clearly the article by the title is The Right Quarterback, Young versus Stroud. But what he made was a kind of an interesting analogy to how some of the discussions unfolded. And I believe it was, the 2018 NFL draft, where Baker Mayfield was coming off a Heisman Trophy year, undersized, but revered as a college player. And then you got another prototypical size quarterback on the other hand that a lot of people like, Sam Darnold. He didn't win the Heisman, but he had that 6'3", 225, the arm strength, the mobility, and that landed him the number 3 overall pick. But what he's ultimately talking about is the gravity of this pick and how important it is. And really at the kind of the difference, the difficulty in making this pick is you get a Bryce Young, Greg, who is accomplished, who has been a great playmaker, who won the Heisman, who has that kind of intangible it factor, right? And then you get on the other side a guy that gives you comfort in his size and his ability and really arms, like kind of. And the Carolina Panthers are going to have to weigh which one of these factors. Is it the concerns that push you towards the other guy, or are there attributes that pull you to one of these guys, Greg?
Well, I mean, once again, I think they're both fantastic first picks. I think the consolation prize for whoever has number 2 is a pretty good consolation. But it goes back to the argument I made the other day about it comes down to, I can teach what CJ Stroud lacks, I can improve on. What Bryce Young lacks, I can't. And I'm not saying that Bryce Young lacks, like, it's like going to be a terrible quarterback. He may end up being the best quarterback in the NFL. And it's why I lean more to CJ Stroud, is because I can improve CJ Stroud's faults, if any. I can't improve any of Bryce Young's, you know? And I've seen quarterbacks come from systems where everything for them is perfect as far as best offensive line, best wide receivers, best defense coming in. And I'm not saying that Bryce Young is going to fail, but I've just seen this before. The problem is, no matter what the quarterback is, you always have the issue of what if. I was looking at the top 50 NFL busts the other day, drafts, and Jamarcus Russell was number 1. And I think the top 10, like 6 of them are quarterbacks. Quarterback is a tough position to pick, man.
Yeah. And you know what? The number one pick overall is either a franchise Hall of Famer or a bust.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a pretty good quarterback and be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, just ask Jared Goff. Just ask even Baker Mayfield. Well, and I mean, is that Baker had some success in a terrible place, but Jared Goff is a prime example. Was Matt Stafford number 1 overall?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he won a Super Bowl, but you could have said the same thing for him until he went to the Rams.
So, Tony, I've got some pretty good breaking news. Our boy Just Don't Care just gave out 5 gifted subs to 5 special people to become a C3 super fan, man. That's incredible.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just Don't Care. We love you, buddy. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. And listen, hey, there's no better time than right now for me to drop this little tidbit. So look, if you've been around C3 for a while, in years past, it's really been hard for us to do film sessions just because we would try to go live and they would always get pulled off of YouTube. So we have a cool little trick for everybody. These are still going to go up on YouTube, but for $1.99 a month, you get first access to the 2023 C3 Film Room, baby. And I'm not talking about 15 minutes. I'm talking about these are hour-long film room sessions where we grind the tape of 3 different games from these quarterbacks coming up in the draft, both Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. We're going to have it where these videos are going to go up for all the super fans first, and then later on, they're going to go up on YouTube for everyone else to watch. But if you want to see these before everyone else, dude, all you have to do, hit that join button, join the C3 Panthers fandom for only $1.99 a month, a bunch of film sessions. We just did Bryce Young. We watched 3 separate pieces of film for Bryce Young, and we're going to do more on Bryce. We're going to do more on CJ. We're going to try and do some edge rushers at some point. We're going to do some receivers. Man, it's going to be incredible. If you love to crunch the film and you really want to know what separates the number 1 and number 2 quarterback in this year's draft, hit that join button, baby. Support the C3 Panthers podcast. And we're going to have a good time doing it, baby.
This is good news, people.
That is good news, people. And you know what? It's a small way to support the show. $1.99 a monthly donation gets you, some small loyalty things. But really, it's a way for us to continue to grow the channel, particularly. And I know anything that people give is a lot in this difficult time. Boy, the inflation's hitting me incredibly lately, so I know it's like that on everybody. So a little bit rather from a lot rather than a lot from a little is a great way for us to continue to band together and build this community. Another way you can support the show, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, and even call in at 252-228-5098. Now the story and the discussion for the next month or more, actually, it's about a month and a week. How long? We got to start doing a countdown, I guess, to the draft. If somebody could tell us how many days to the draft it will be. It's going to be, is it CJ Stroud? Is it Bryce Young? And you're going to hear about people talking about how Bryce Young is the guy. He needs to be the guy. Then you're going to have people telling you there's CJ Stroud. that is the guy. And I'm going to tell you one thing. You're also going to get a lot of smoke, a lot of sleight of hand. And boy, are the Panthers engaged in all types of deception and potentially luring old players in, legends to run interference. Here's Thomas Davis talking about the Carolina Panthers and who they are going to pick at number 1.
And you look at Bryce Young, you look at his resume. The kid was a Heisman Trophy winner last year for a reason. And then when you put guys around him like Alabama has, he played in the SEC, the highest level of competition in football, in college football. I just think that he's going to come in and he would fit well in Carolina if they were going to draft him. But like you said, DJ, I don't think that he's going to be their pick. I think it's going to be a very, very surprising pick in Carolina.
Whoa.
But, I mean, I will say this. If this pick happens that who I think that they are in love with, I'm not a fan of it.
Okay, so hold on, you can't spill the beans here.
I just know that there are a couple of guys upstairs that are enamored by the physical ability of Anthony Richardson.
Wow. 1 overall.
That will have some fun.
Well, last time they took a quarterback 1 overall, it was Cam. So, like, right?
I mean, he's not Cam Newton.
Quarterback.
No. He's not Cam Newton.
I love that. He's not Cam Newton.
Play a lot.
Thank you.
Me being an SEC guy, he has all the physical characteristics of being a really good quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think that he's going to be that great player that the Carolina Panthers need to take them to the next level. When you look at Bryce Young, what he brings to the table, he's a proven winner. When you look at CJ Stroud, what he brings to the table, this kid has proven he can win football games. Anthony Richardson, on the other hand, Will Levis, on the other hand, those guys have been in programs that could potentially be good, but they just haven't been. And the reason to me has been the quarterback position.
I know.
Wow, Thomas Davis. Now,
heat on that one.
He really did. I mean, he definitely did. My question to you: what does Thomas Davis actually know? And White Chocolate, I see you don't know. We're definitely gonna get to him. I promise you, brother. But when it comes to Thomas Davis, my mind, I think he's kind of running interference for the Carolina Panthers. I think, everybody knows that Thomas Davis is on the NFL Network now. He has a speaking job in front of everyone. So why would anyone in the organization, be giving Thomas Davis, top secret information about who we're going to be drafting? Look, maybe he knows something. I don't know. All I'm saying is that if, to me, this seems very unlikely. It seems as though he's hinting. It seems as though he's hinting at Anthony Richardson, but in my mind, there is just no way that you've moved all the way up to number 1 to take Anthony Richardson, man. To me, it just does not seem like a good move.
Well, he wasn't hinting at it. He straight up said Anthony Richardson, didn't he? Yeah, there was no hinting at all. So, yeah, I agree with you, Cody. I think that if Carolina drafts Anthony Richardson number 1, and no, I'm not trying to disrespect Anthony Richardson. I just feel there's better players ahead of him at the same position. I feel like it could be a bust. Now, Anthony Richardson could come in the NFL and be the next Lamar Jackson for all I know, or the next Cam Newton for all I know. But I just feel like, based on the information we have, he's not the best selection for number 1 for Carolina.
Yeah. CK, you want to jump in before we read some super chats?
Dude, I think that if we moved up to 1 to get Anthony Richardson, I think there would be a lot of people. If we had gotten him and moved up to like 4 to do it, I don't think you're going to have a lot of people upset about it, right? Not everybody's going to be like jumping overjoy. But moving up to 1 when you have these 2 guys who, as Thomas Davis put, is a proven commodity in the in college. I think that's just a heavy risk, and I don't think that this organization is prepared to do that with a fan base that is coming off of 3, 4, 5 years of quarterback mediocrity, right? I just don't see them taking a risk on a guy like that. I know he has incredible upside, but for what they gave up, you gave up a DJ Moore, right? you don't get a super athletic guy and as a quarterback like Anthony Richardson and sign the types of people that they've been signing. I think the signings that they have here have told me that it's clearly going to be a guy like Bryce Young who is ready to start day one. They're going to be focusing on that offensive line, I feel like, and trying to secure that internal or that interior line. But man, I cannot for the life of me figure out in what world outside of us trading down for a incredible haul of picks or what have you. There's just no scenario where I think we're taking anybody other than CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that. It kind of seems like like Thomas Davis is kind of playing the game a little bit at this point. Which, hey, man,
somebody said a plant. He's a plant,
Yeah,
and as my bastard son said, he would never say that without being told that it was okay to leak a little here and there and try to get kind of people uncomfortable all over the place, everywhere. Cody, read out these super chats and then turn the mic over to the voice that makes them moist.